I told the people to get the Valentines up that we'll be going over the dissolution of the certificate of live birth again for modification, and that they should get up intestable, droit, and quasi in the dictionary.
Quasi, intestable, droit, and a few others, okay?
Okay.
Told you about those the other day.
Right.
And I can really see that there's a hell of a lot of people who really give a shit about getting out of this damn system. 9 damn people. That is sickening.
Well, there may be more, but yes, it's a small number. There's 11, but it's still a small number.
Yeah. From everything that I've been saying over the last several weeks, okay, and people can't get it through their head that basically this is the way out. I've referenced the Bible all the way through. I've tried to show you that basically this is right in the path of what Jesus did, what Moses did. In Moses' time, there was only one corporation, the state corporation, that he had to contend with. It wasn't a religious corporation that he had to contend with also. In Jesus' time, there was 2 corporations. He had the church and the state. Now, in our present time frame, we've got 3, or a man normally has 3. The state, the church, and the military. See, they keep adding on to this scenario. Setting up these fictitious dead corporations.
Mm.
If you go into the book of John, okay, it talks about 5 crosses, not 3 crosses on Calvary. There was one central figure in each corporation, the president of the corporation. And then you have the grantee and the grantor for each corporation. In the church corporation, they call it a grantor and a beneficiary. And the central figure to be the trustee. That's the same thing as being the president. In Christ's time, it was the Christ figure on the central cross, crucifixion. The longer you tell a lie, the more easily it is to be believed, okay?
Right.
Goebbels said that. Goebbels was a follower of the Roman Church, just like Hitler was, just like Stalin was. They were patsies for the church. Just like Roosevelt was. He was a follower of the Bible. It's the common people that can't follow anything and understand anything and read outside the book, the lines. Even in the book of John, it talks about the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes. Okay? The 5 persons was what the loaves were. 2 thieves, bad thieves, and then 2 good thieves. And then the central person. That's really what Lowe's were talked about, was the persons in this scenario. I've told you basically over and over again that it's all metaphors. The two fishes were the two corporations, the church corporation and the state corporation in Jesus' time. Did Jesus get paid for his knowledge that he put out to the people? Yes. He didn't do it for free. He got paid. Because what happened? He got 12 baskets in return. For giving the knowledge to the 5,000. But see, people don't read the thing that way. They don't want to understand the Bible the way it's really. The truth hurts. That's why there's very, 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 very few people that ever come out of this system. And then the vast majority of the people don't want to believe that that's what happened, how they got out, was by following the Bible, because they think they know what the Bible says, because that's what they've been told, and they want to believe the lie. I put the document together. I think I sent you a copy of the letter that I had there before. 1 page, Tom, didn't I?
Not today. I didn't get anything today.
Not today.
Well,
previously.
Okay,
did I or did I not send you a copy of that?
I don't think so. The last thing I have is the dissolution and of the COLB, the Federal Corp dissolution, the Federal Corp grantee settlement template, the partial redeeming order, and partial redeeming order sample.
Okay, I didn't send you one the other day.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to send it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are on your own. I hope that hurts, okay?
It does. It does. It really hurts very much. I don't know what to do then.
Right, because because where has been the response of putting anything back into this scenario? People go out and they want to listen to all the damn garbage that everybody else is talking about and believe that bullshit, but they don't want to try and decipher, break out the Bible, check out these things, put some input back into it. You want to be just like the damn guy that came to the wedding, unprepared, running around with his plate out, wanting it to be filled up, not having done a damn thing to be worthy of having his plate filled. I've used that metaphor before, trying to get you people to wake up. You were basically born an infant, and you were in an intestable not be tested because you could not write a valid will. And most of these people that go into court, they couldn't write a valid will. Their heart depended upon it. Because they don't know what they're talking about. That judge, that chief judge, when he sent my stuff back and he used the word undecipherable in there, it wasn't until I went into InTest and went through the definitions of that, and the last Latin phrase in Ballantyne's dictionary there, right before intestate, said everything that I needed to see what that judge was saying, that my documents were undecipherable. I was using some of the wrong process at the point in time, trying to say that basically we were trying to do a quick claim now when the quick claim had already been previously done by them. And to be decipherable, you have to give the key to deciphering the code. Everybody that goes into court, basically they're operating in a federal jurisdiction under federal codes. Do you have the key? No. You give me the key, and then basically we will see where we go from there. But I don't have the key to know what the words you're using, what the definition of the words you're using mean. Because in a lot of cases, the words have more than one meaning. So you give me the code and tell me what that word really means that you're using, so that I don't misinterpret it and use the wrong meaning. That's the difference between undecipherable, where you don't have a key, and decipherable when you do have the key. So in my document that I'm putting in, and it's going to be 15 pages for mine, 2 pages for the cover letter. Basically, the corporate will from the grantor, the grantee, and the president of the corporation, their wills, and their will be done. And we sign in their behalf. We also have to put our will into the process here, and it is called a holographic will. You handwrite it out. You handwrite the date. And then you do not need any witnesses to that will. Because if it's handwritten, okay, and hand dated, it is very hard to forger. Especially if you put your seal on it, your thumbprint or your 2 right and left index fingers with your DNA. Spit on your finger before you put it in the red ink or whatever. You put in your attachments of what you want to be surrendered, and you just do copies of them. Until they prove trustworthy, we're not going to give them the originals. Mm-hmm. They have to show trust first. I trust no dead person out here any longer. We have certified copies and originals available if they show trust and come in honor with a lawful request for those instruments. Then we will hand over the original or the certified copy. Or give them the notation of, if we've already surrendered it to some organization, the notification at that point in time. You put a copy as an attachment of your original land birthright or your original birthright, which is either out of your Bible or your hospital birth certificate. That is your original birthrighting document for your rights and powers to the country when you come of age. You can do a notification of the land recording, and it's a court document, and basically it vested you your rights by court into the county land records. So you are the vested land owner. That's your original land claiming title. And then the fraudulent one set up the corporation when they attached the number, that charter number, that corporation charter number, to that document. And it was all done because you were an infant and you were in a state of being intestable. Now you have to come forward and you have to basically give the will. You have to terminate your bad thief, your good thief, and the Christ figure, the president or whatever of the corporation. Now, most people will have at least two corporations, a church corporation and a state corporation. The central figure in both corporations is basically the same. Okay, the president of the corporation, whether he be the trustee in title or whatever, he's still the president of the corporation. And basically, the one corporation is founded upon the other corporation. The birthing corporation is founded upon the state corporation. It's a foreign religious creditors corporation. But the state corporation had to be set up first because the foreign corporation is using the state corporation collateral for the United States Federal Bankruptcy Corporation. It's a little convoluted, but it's all right there. And it's all played out, like I said, from Moses' time, even prior to that. But Moses' time basically did the best documentation of it up to that point in time. Abraham basically did it, came out of the system, but it wasn't clearly identified in his scenario of what he did to come out. Same thing with Cain and Abel. This system has been here since the beginning of the time of this cycle around. And like I said, everything operates in threes. Basically, Moses' time was just with the state corporation. Jesus' time was with the church and the religious corporation. The final cycle of the three was when they went after the militaries, which up until that point in time, they were not to touch the military's pensions or bounties. That was a no-no. You do not mess with the military man. But they have got away with it in this scenario, in the final stage of this process, in modern day. That's why we're in the latter stages, because we're in the final cycle. There won't be a fourth scenario. There is no fourth corporation to make up. But if you look at this stuff and listen to what I had to say about this, you'll see that it's all right there. Now, to prevent them from coming back again, claiming my documents are undecipherable, we supply the key. The key is in the words that we use. And what definition of those words we are using them. Because, like I said, in a lot of cases, words have more than one meaning. You have to pull out which meaning of that word you're using, and now put that down in your key. So I've got 3 pages of definitions that I'm putting in for the key to both the documents and my will. I have all the documents ready to go except for my holographic will. And I need to finish writing that one up tonight, and then I will put that in, and basically the package will be going out tomorrow morning. A total of 15 pages in my package. This is not that hard to try and figure out, okay? If you've listened to what I've had to say, and if you can read the Bible and listen to what I had to say about the Bible also. But people don't really want to hear the truth. And I've said that before and before and before. That's why there's only 9 people on this call. And I really don't know why most of you 9 people are on this call. Whether you really want out or whether you're just filling time in. Because you, in asking questions and everything else, you have not shown me anything. You haven't tried to correct me when I made mistakes.
As you go off.
And some of them were very obvious out here. I had to find it myself. Well, that's all fine and good, but I'm tired of doing all the legwork for you people. because you're just running around with your damn silver platter out there wanting somebody to fill it up for you. I tried to give you ways out. I tried to tell people to get a hold of nitwits like Rod Class, to tell him to, hey, listen to this. I tried to tell people to get in touch with other people out there, other gurus. I've had my phone number posted up there so that anybody could call me and basically talk over some of this stuff. But no. For the most part, it's just very, very few that are trying to do some of this stuff, and most of them are hamstrung in their endeavor. Their computers are not working. They're broke, dead broke. But at least some of them are trying. But where in the hell are all the rest? Where are the ones that have a little funds available right now to help in this endeavor?
Patrick, that email that I sent out of the update with Rod, that had a link to a group that is trying to bring different people and groups and stuff together, and apparently they do have some type of investors or what have you that are contributing to the cause. So
yeah, they're contributing over there. They ain't contributing to me one bit.
Well,
helping this damn outfit over here, and we're the ones that are right on. They're not.
They don't have.
And they won't come over and talk to me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I tried some more today.
I totally get your frustrations and aggravations with this. It's very apparent and understandable. But, I think if you can get the fact that...
If I can what? Go to the Garden of Agony like Jesus? I'm in the Garden of Agony. You don't realize that I have followed every damn step that Jesus walked in this whole damn process. I've tried to put this out to the 5,000. I've told you about the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes.
Yes.
I've told you about the crucifixion.
Right.
How to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
But all these people, they don't want to believe. And that was what we were told to do, was to truly believe the truth, not the lie.
Yes, but for the people that choose not to, that is their walk, and they have to, that's going to be their walk. You can do what you can do. You can lead the horse to water. You cannot make it drink. So you're doing your part, and the people that are doing their part are doing their part, and the ones that aren't, well, they choose not to, and they choose to be in that darkness. If they've been given, different...
And the problem is, we don't need to talk about them anymore, okay?
Okay. Well,
if you tell these people and then they don't do it, basically that ought to tell you something about that damn group, and you'd better stop following them, even having any damn contact with them.
Okay.
Because you're just getting mixed information when you continue to listen to their garbage.
Well, frankly, for myself, I just try to share. I shared your information. I shared when the calls were, those sort of things. And I'm just speaking specifically for myself. I can't speak for anyone else on the call. And I've only been on this is only the third, I think, recent call that you've had that I've even made. And it was in the middle of a lot of other things I already had scheduled. So I don't know. I can't speak for anyone else. But it's appreciated what you're doing. And it's very obvious that your heart is in it. And again, I personally privately can sense and understand your aggravations and frustrations for sure.
Yeah, like I said, tonight's my agony in the garden. okay?
Mhm.
Tomorrow my documents are going into the court.
Right.
My will, and my will be done.
Right.
It is to be done. And a will, a lawful and operable will, is to be completed within 3 days. That's the laws of wills.
Right. And when you mentioned about doing the holographic will, and I agree with that comment you made. What I have to mention is that when I looked on the different sites for different states, because someone said that when you do those, because I've been working on for quite a while, and they said that you have to watch. Some states will not recognize that, and
that's total bullshit. Okay, that is total bullshit. A holographic will is to be recognized everywhere.
When you look at their legal,
no, you don't. That's the problem. You're looking at their shit.
Well,
they're going to tell you the damn lie. Okay? Do you want to believe the truth or do you want to believe the lie?
I believe the truth, and I
know.
Okay,
then stay the hell away from listening to anything that comes out of the government. The government is the biggest fucking liar out here, besides the church.
Well,
I've said this all along. You stay away from their codes. You don't have the key to break down the codes.
Of course not. And they'll change them on you in a blink of the eye.
And the same thing going into court. You don't have the key to break down the codes. You turn it over to them. Say, here, you take care of it. You're the federal proctor for this item. I can't touch the dead.
Right.
I can't have intercourse with the dead, but you guys can. So go have your intercourse with my dead corporation and settle the matter. Because that's my will. People have gone into court and said, my will is that this is to be done this way. And lo and behold, it is.
Right.
It's that simple. Rod Class could have walked out of that damn court if he would have kept his damn mouth shut and just said, my will is that you settle this matter.
Apparently he's trying to bring to, he allowed to.
He is trying to fight. He's a complete lunatic.
Well, I'm not going to, I don't know what he is that way, but what I will say is according to...
Basically read what it says about intestable. Okay? You're either an infant and cannot write a will, or you are a lunatic.
Okay. Well, he's trying to expose the fact of what is going on, and that was his way.
He can't expose shit because he doesn't know how it works. He doesn't know the damn Bible. He doesn't know what Moses did. He doesn't know what Jesus did. But it's all right there in the Bible telling exactly what the hell they did. Jesus was not Mr. Nice Guy, okay? He would lose his cool, too. Moses would lose his cool, too, with the people. The people don't see that because the bankers wrote it and the church members wrote it for their benefit. And then they threw all the blood and guts into the damn thing. And boy, everybody watches those damn movies about the blood and guts. Not realizing that it was just a simple crucifixion, cancellation of a contract. of a fictional person. That's what was getting crucified, executed. I'm trying to show you the modern day version of all this in the documents that I've supplied so far. But see, nobody wants to give any feedback on those damn documents. The ones that can see them, there are a few that basically can't get them downloaded or whatever because they don't have the computer capability or whatever right now.
Well,
so I'm not harping on them. I'm harping on these other people that basically have the opportunity to sit there and look at these documents and have the opportunity to basically put things aside if they really want out of the system. They don't know. It's better to go see grandma or whatever, spend your time over there going to the bowling alley or going down to the bar and having a few beers or whatever.
I don't know. I can't speak to these things. I spend.
Well, I'm not talking just to you, okay?
I'm the only one speaking right now. No one else is talking, so I didn't know if anyone else was on the line.
Yeah, I think I scared them all away.
Well, I don't scare too easily. I was looking through them, and I'm actually matching up. I've been matching up the definitions, I apologize, to the words in them and going through it to let it sink in because, like you mentioned last time, you have to really understand what you're submitting into these places to be able to, if you have to explain it or you're living it, you've got to really know that you know what you're putting in there. And so
yeah, well, basically a lot of it is knowing what I'm saying on these calls.
Right.
Okay, that's why I told Tom that we were going to stop having Monday night calls so that people could listen to this call if they couldn't download it, at least for 2 or 3 days.
Right, yeah, it took some time with mine too, but got it. Got things working.
So you can listen to it more than once, even.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you can get this stuff ingrained in your mind and go check these things out. The 2 fishes and the 5 loaves for feeding the 5,000, and then Jesus getting payment back of 12 baskets in return is right in John. And there's numerous Bibles out there you can download in the PDF format to read this stuff. If you don't have a Bible handy. But see, everything in the Bible was done in metaphors of the time. You go back in there and you do a word search in John about fish. And basically, where did he get the money? He went to the fish, to the corporation, to get the funds to pay the taxes. It says right there, basically 20 shekels or whatever the hell it was. Pence or whatever. Basically, take it out and pay the taxes. But he got it from the fish's mouth. Mm-hmm. Numerous other places in the Bible talk about the same scenario. So the fish was the corporation. The loaves were the fictional persons in the corporation. The good thieves and the bad thieves.
You mentioned last week or the week before about you were referring to a movie or something, and then you said about the Great Gathering. Can you speak to that, what you were referring to?
It's beyond your capability right now.
Well, but don't be so sure.
No, it's beyond your capability, because until you understand this basic stuff, you're not going to be ready for the understanding of what I was referring to about the Great Gathering.
I think you're assuming quite a bit, Patrick.
The Great Gathering is when all of the living spirits in the universe come back together. The game is over this time around. And all the living spirits that want to come back will come back to the Great Gathering. They will merge together into one. They will bring the universe to a closure and then start it all over again. This is an ever-ending game until basically no more, only one spirit returns. He's the game winner. And then he will divide himself up and start the game all over again. That's how the universe works. Matter does not get destroyed.
Right.
It just gets recycled.
Mm-hmm.
You were going to go over.
Okay, any questions on what I'm talking about on trying to get out of the system? And only questions about trying to get out of a system.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
So I contacted the Secretary of State for my birthing state. Well, actually, in the state of Utah, there's no Secretary of State, but they have what's called a records ombudsman. So I contacted the records ombudsman, and she said that there was no recordings in the county where I've been living and where I was birthed. Now, I'm a naturalized citizen, so...
And they won't have it, okay?
Okay.
You take your naturalization certificate, and that's what set up your state corporation.
Right.
Okay, here in this country. That is a federal certificate. So it set up a federal corporation with a grantor, a grantee, and a president.
Okay, but you said something about being a landowner.
You does not apply to you, okay?
Okay.
Your stuff was recorded in your birthing country.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So the naturalization papers, claims, and everything else have attached to what was from your birthing country.
I see.
And they can access that, the people who did the naturalization, right?
You let the courts take care of it. The
Right,
federal proctor, okay? He will take care of it.
That's what I meant, yes.
Okay, well, I'm waiting for the immigration people to return my citizenship document, and later this month I'll be submitting this package, and I'll give you feedback on
Do you have a copy of it?
No, I don't have a copy. I had to request it.
You didn't keep a scanned copy or anything of it as a JPG?
I have my original birthright and hospital record.
Your original naturalization paper?
No, I'm waiting for them to respond to my Freedom of Information Act request.
It's going to cost you about $400 from what I've heard from other people to try and get a copy, a certified copy of your naturalization paper if you don't have one.
Yeah,
I saw that. Hang on to it.
I saw that form, and I know I was supposed to hang on to it, but I was never given one, and I didn't have $400 at the time, so I went through the FOIA process.
You were never given anything proving that you were naturalized.
Maybe my parents kept it from me. I'm not sure what happened, actually. But
well, check with them, okay?
You know, I did, and I guess at this point I'm just waiting for the federal government to respond.
How about waiting for your damn parents to respond?
Patrick,
they were your guardians, weren't they? They were responsible for that document.
Do you know that if they're even alive? I mean, aren't you assuming a lot?
What?
Aren't you assuming a lot? I mean, they may not have been alive, or they may not be alive, or there could be some extenuating circumstances.
What extenuating circumstances? Okay?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Okay, then don't say anything. You're just hyperventilating whatever.
A little
okay? You're guessing at something that you have no earthly idea what you're saying, okay? This is for him, okay? If basically he got naturalized, there should have been a recording, a document that was given to them at the naturalization. I went and saw my two niece and nephew get naturalized, and they gave them a certificate. Now, they were underage, so basically their parents probably held on to it for them.
Right.
So basically the parents are the responsible party for that. If the parents can't cough it up, the parents ought to cough up the $400 to go and get the thing.
I think you're right about that one.
Because they did not fulfill their obligation.
Yeah, you're right, Patrick.
I know I'm right. I'm right 99% of the time. I do have one mistake, or 1% for error, or mistake capability.
Well, like I said, I'm getting this document later this month, or I expect to.
Well, if nothing else, try and get the damn number and everything else and put that into the court. Do you have the number?
No, and I don't even have my SS card either, so I have to go and get a replacement.
You don't have a scanned copy of that either.
No, but at least I have my
Before you ever send any documents out or destroy anything, you always should keep a copy of it. Anytime you send something out, and don't trust these guys, okay? Until they show us trust, do not trust them. You're dealing with the dead, and there is no trust in the dead. In this federal system or the church system,
Yeah, I was going to mention that they added to the laws of the Bible, but the Bible says you can't add to these laws.
You can't what?
You can't add to these laws, and you can't take away from these laws. The laws in the Bible.
No, that's wrong, okay? You can add more information to that Bible, okay? Because the Bible is a living will and a living testament. And basically, if I wanted to put in the Third Testament into the Bible, I could, for the present day scenario of what's going on. I could be Prophet Patrick. Because basically that's what this is all about. What I'm telling you is exactly what Jesus was trying to tell.
Yeah, I get that. I think it seems like they added like a dead law to the living law.
They basically rewrote and hid some of this stuff away. Okay, they could not touch John, from what I can see. But they went in and they polluted Mark, Luke, and several of the other documents. And Paul, the bankers did, and the church did, for their own benefit. Then they left out other documents out of the Bible, like the book of Joshua. And there's I don't know how many other books. The book of Eli, or whatever, one of them there. That basically was before Moses, talking about Abraham in a little more detail. They left these out because basically they would have told a little more of the truth to the people than what the church and the bankers wanted the people to know.
They left out about the third commandment, graven images also.
Yeah, they left a whole bunch of shit out.
The graven images being like the name and...
Now, let's get back on subject here. Any other questions about trying to go to the federal court? You don't go to the attorney generals. But if you have a court case or if you have state taxes, you turn around and you assign them to that attorney general as he is the state prefect to settle the matter. You basically, by your will, you make him the authorized representative and say, my will be done.
And that's what you're doing with the grantee settlement, right?
In all of them, basically, it is from the grantee, the grantor, and the president. It's their will which will be done when we sign, right before we sign. We're signing for their will to be done. And then we're coming in and putting our living will as a holographic will into the picture as the living owner, estate owner, American estate owner, and land title owner to claim our items, have it given back to us within 3 days. That's my will. And my will be done. The will of the living always overrides the will of the dead. Especially when they were quasi and fictitious to begin with. But when you get rid of your three corporate employees, the grantor, the grantee, and the president, basically there is no longer any corporate officers to run the corporation. Now the corporation has to go into dissolution. That's simple. You crucify the three operatives, and basically now the corporation has to dissolve because there's nobody to run the corporation any longer.
And we should submit that dissolution in handwritten form rather than the document that we have?
Yes, it's in. You write it in there, okay?
Okay. As a holograph.
You can address that the corporation has been dissolved or dissolved in your holographic will, but you have your other will, your dissolution, your reconveyance, and reassignment back to the president, and then the president gives it up.
Right. I understand.
Okay,
that.
so you've got three wills on one sheet. You've got that copy out there. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But you just have to modify it a little, and basically also state on there that my will is to be done from the president, from the grantor, and from the grantee. And then you sign as the competent attesting witness. Because, see, their will is not holographic. That's why you have to have a witness to the will.
Mm-hmm. So my question was should we, rather than use the typed version, write it all out by hand?
Not for them.
Okay, because they're dead.
Your will is to be written out by hand.
Oh, okay, got it.
See, you're dealing with 4 different wills, at least. The will of the grantor, the will of the grantee, and the will of the president of your corporation. And they're all fiction, so you can type that one out.
Okay.
And then you're signing as the witness for their will.
Oh, okay.
But on the holographic one, that is your living will, and that is why you handwrite that one out, so that you don't need a witness. And you also have to handwrite the date. Read what it says about holographic will.
Yes, got it.
The answer is in the words. I've said this all along. The Bible said the answer is in the words. But people don't want to believe that. They want to believe the lie. Let somebody else tell me what to do. I don't have time to do all this stuff myself. That's total bullshit. No other questions?
I do have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm under 25. I'm a male, and I haven't done any military service. So will I eventually get a DD-214?
No, but did you get a selective service number?
I sure did.
Okay, then basically you reference that. You should have a copy of that selective service instrument also. If not, Tom can tell you how to go about getting a copy of that.
Okay, great.
Right, you write to the National Archives in St. Louis. Well, when were you born?
I'm sorry, when was I born?
When were you born? When were you 18? When were you 18?
18, about 5 years ago.
Okay, you can get that online. I'll get my stuff out and post that.
Okay, thank you.
It's the stuff before 1963, I think. If you signed up for selective service before 1963, you have to go to the National Archives.
See, this is some of the stuff you guys should be talking about back and forth right now, okay?
And we do some, Patrick, on the group, but we don't do enough.
Yeah.
I would love to talk more, but I just got on the call, and I'm afraid that I've missed too much to really participate meaningfully.
Well, you have to listen to the call then.
But no, it was really something to have that chief judge come back and tell me that my documents were undecipherable, using that word particularly, especially when that word is not to be found in the law dictionaries. Yeah, to use a word that is not in the law dictionaries by somebody who is operating in law, basically that tells you something right there. They hid that away. Had to go to an Oxford Universal Dictionary in 1933 and look up decipherable and undecipherable. And basically,
Code not to be able to
it was basically one does not have the key, the other does have the key. Then you have to look up what key means. The one that opens the subject matter.
And look at what flag has two keys on it.
The justice.
And particularly the Vatican.
Yeah.
I think the Treasury seal has a flag on it, a key on it too.
You're right, it does.
Yeah,
Which should
you
tell
have
you
to
a lot.
get the key, and the key is the words. Once you use the words the right way, you're no longer a lunatic. One who does not know how to use the words right is basically classified as a lunatic. And a lunatic cannot write a valid will.
Why would we want
all these wills that basically, of all the people that have died and left a will, they did not have a valid will because they did not address everything that they had a right to.
Why not use a trust?
They only wrote their will out for what they could readily see, not what was unseen.
Could you not put that into a trust?
Huh?
Could you not do the same thing for that will into a trust?
Into a trust. You stay the hell away from trust. Like I said, there is no trust in this damn world or country. You put it into your estate, okay?
Okay.
Your estate.
Right.
Private estate. You take it out of their hands and you put it over into your hands only. You never trust somebody else with your gold because you'll never see that shit again.
I wanted to ask a question about where our superior court comes into play, and I think it probably comes into play into administering our assets with the estate.
Basically, our superior court is basically Just keep it in the background, okay? You come in with your will right now, okay? Mm-hmm. After that, we will operate with our superior court in our estate, having jurisdiction over our estate. Because now we've gotten our stuff into the living world, and now our court is superior to all these federal dead courts or government-created courts. What the people created. Our superior court is not a creation. It is part of us. It is the court of man. And it's your spirit, your common knowledge, that is the laws in that court. Of knowing right and wrong.
Okay, I have another question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Kirk, why don't you go ahead, Kirk?
Okay. I'm looking at the Federal Corporation Dissolution paper, and you have on there Federal District blank Corporation.
If you don't know your Federal District Corporation, okay, there are 96 United States judicial districts, okay? Those are not federal districts. The federal district is a federal corporation district. Now, in the federal judicial, or in the judicial district, there might be more than one federal corp district.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Because that number is the first three digits on your selective service number or the first three digits on your certificate of live birth. Now, if you don't have a certificate of live birth or whatever, you have a naturalization, you go to the federal chief judge in the district that you're located in.
Okay.
And leave the number blank or take the line out.
Now, with my selective service number, that was filed in Oregon. I was born in Michigan. So those are going to be two different districts. Is that going to be a conflict?
No, you reference them, okay? See, is what it's doing is tying back to where that corporation was initially established, where that federal corporation was established.
Oh, I see.
That's all it's doing.
That would be the certificate of live birth number, then.
Yeah, but now if you're not in your birthing state, then you leave it blank, and you just send it to the federal district judge that you're located in.
Oh,
Patrick?
I didn't realize that.
Patrick?
See how simple this is? Think about this stuff logically.
Yep.
Patrick?
Try and play Mr. Spock.
Yep. I understand.
Patrick?
Yes.
Patrick? I found the three-digit state codes a while ago, and I'll repost them up on the Yahoo group and in the Skype group. It's a small page.
You don't need to worry about that, okay?
Okay.
That's not going to help anybody. If they've got the copy of their certificate of live birth, they should have the first three digits, and that's the federal zone or the federal enclave that their corporation was established in.
Right, but some states don't have that. You know, like Ohio, where I was born, didn't have that. So I had to go.
Don't have what?
didn't have that 3-digit state code on the birth certificate.
That's because you're a fucking old fart. Okay?
Yeah. True.
You were born before 1930 or 1948.
Right.
The 3-digit codes did not come into play in most of the states until 1948, 1949 time frame. I've talked about that in the past.
Right. But when I got a certified copy of my certificate of live birth about 10 years ago, they still didn't have it on there.
They're not going to because of your age.
They're not going to for you, Tom, because you're an old fart.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Got it. I still have a 50-year plan, though.
Can I ask a question about some of the documentation you had up? Why is it in a green box instead of a purple or a red box? The Vatican uses red around theirs, and they have purple lettering.
If you're in that's a doc file that I created. If you want to change the color of the frame, just go in and click on it and change the color of the frame and change it to whatever you want.
You don't need to have any framework around any of this shit that I'm sending in.
I did that on the money order type things, Patrick.
Yeah,
you had
in the past. Yeah, we were trying to do some of that to try and sort of highlight it and make it a little more professional. Well, basically, professional don't count in their damn world because they're professionally dead.
Yeah, you've done it on your recent money orders too with a decorated border, but I can't do that with an open office, so I just do a plain frame.
Would they recognize if there's a box around it, whatever's inside? Because in their on their side, when you submit things, I've always heard that if there's a box within a writing, a document you submit, that means it's basically not there. Whatever was inside that box.
That is total falsehood out there. Okay?
Technically,
because basically in their world, they operate with boxes. They operate with coffins to keep the dead in place.
Okay. So you're at this point, you're saying there can be or there can't be. It doesn't matter.
You just keep your living self out of being in a box.
Okay, right.
Okay?
Right.
Yeah, I like being an apple tree.
Right.
You like being an apple tree? Can you expound on that?
Well, Patrick says don't get into a coffin. Have them plant you in the ground and grow an apple tree over you. I like that.
No, I said basically throw yourself head first and dig a post hole, throw yourself head first, then stick a cherry tree up your ass.
Oh, well, I didn't hear that one.
Tom, your version's better.
Maybe hopefully your spirit will come out in the apple or in the cherries, and basically the young woman or whatever that picks the cherries basically eats the cherry for the spirit and puts you back into circulation as quick as possible.
Good.
See, you got to think outside the box here.
Well, I'm a bit outside, not entirely though.
Like I said, Jesus believed in reincarnation. Everybody in the Old Testament believed in reincarnation.
Sure.
And basically, we're going to be reincarnated because basically, why is there so many 12s out here in everything? Because we got 12 lives to live. We have to go into each one of the houses of Zodiac and live a life in that cycle.
Hmm.
Can you explain that?
That is part of the game plan.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
I just did. That's all you need to know.
As far as how it applies in documents and explaining that to them.
No, you don't need to explain this to the dead world. That is over and above their heads. You got to keep this simple, straightforward. I've said too damn much. That's what the judge was trying to tell me. I'm getting too damn complicated. I need to keep it simple.
Patrick, in the packet that you're going to be sending, did you separate out these wills that you have all on this single sheet? Did you separate those out to single pages?
No. I kept all three corporate officers on one page there.
Okay.
That's for the dissolution, or for the reconveyance, for the reassignment, and then for the final execution.
Okay.
So one is for the first one is for the grantee to reconvey it back to the grantor, and then the grantor basically reassigns it back to the president, and then basically the president gives up the item and basically goes into execution also. And that's his will, is that he is giving it up.
Okay. All right.
It makes it very compact, all in one place, easy to witness, and can't be understood. Can't be misunderstood. Because it's all in one place. Boom, 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 I witness it.
Now, did you put together a cover letter that kind of gives an overview of what you're doing with these three things?
Yes, you always put a cover letter with everything you send out.
Okay. All right.
So do you speak of equity in probate court, or do you speak strictly in pure equity court?
I am speaking directly to terminating and liquidating a corporation, to the federal proctor or prefect, to basically settle the matter, and basically in a liquidation of a corporation, and you can go in and pull down case records of court or of corporation liquidations. There's case files out there. There's also, this whole case is also based out of the Bible.
Right.
Moses did a termination and a dissolution of his corporation. Jesus did it of his state and religious corporation. I'm doing it for my state, church, and military corporations. I've got 3 of them.
Right. I have 2 DD-214s as well.
Yeah, you only have to do the first one. Basically, it ties everything, all your other second discharge and everything into the one. But you need to get down there and get that certified copy in the county land records. I've said that for about the last 4 or 5 years for people to do that.
Now, that's only with the DD-214, not with the selective service, right?
Right.
Okay.
Now, because, see, the DD-214 shows that you were honorably discharged and that you were entitled to a military land bounty.
Right. Okay.
That's why it goes into the county records. It's the military land record book.
And once they do that, the people that have family members that were before, they would file for, however you want to say it, put this information in. There would probably be quite a bit for those people that served before that has not been claimed, you know.
Basically, the DD-214, the military land bounty, was only supposed to be for the husband and the wife.
Oh.
Okay? When they died, that bounty basically reverts back to the state.
Okay.
That's the way it used to be. Okay? You can go into the statutes at large and look at some of these items out there.
I thought it
Now, about requesting your selective service number, just go to sss.gov. And on that first page, in red, is the record request form. Click here.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
If you were baptized, but you were baptized in a Protestant church and they don't give out certificates of baptism, is there anything out there that you need to get, or is it just...
They don't have a recorded baptism in the Protestant church?
As far as
Some
I
do.
know,
Which Protestant church?
Huh?
It depends which Protestant church. Some of them do. Many of them do. I thought before now that all of them did.
I went to Calvary Chapel, Delaware County, and I was baptized there. I mean, they were doing a ton of people, and we didn't have any sort of formal classes or anything like that. It was just if you want to get baptized, come get baptized. And
Is that church a 501c3 church?
I would imagine, but
Was it a 501c3 church or whatever the hell it is at the time you got baptized? That's the question.
Guess you'll have to research that.
yeah.
If it wasn't, then basically it wasn't tied into the Church of Rome.
Okay. Is it a public record if it's a 501, the 503B church or whatever?
Well, I would think so. You could ask them.
Call the church and ask them about baptismal records.
What's the one, not the Seventh-day Adventist, but what's the other one out west?
Jehovah's Witnesses,
No,
the Mormons.
Mormons, they have the records now, apparently. They've been given the records.
Well, they have some records, okay? They don't have everything.
That I can speak to, I know that they have been giving out certificates of baptism for decades. I don't know if it's been that way since the get-go, but I know it's been that way for decades.
Yeah.
And see, basically all roads lead to Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All churches originally came from Rome.
Fact.
Whether you're Protestant, whether you're Methodist, whether you're Lutheran, whether you're Jehovah's Witness, whether you're Mormon, whatever. You all came from Rome. Because the church controlled the Bible. And all these other churches are founded upon the Bible. And what was the original intent of baptism? It was to take away your original sin, to claim your inheritance, your birthing inheritance out here in the world. And then the church basically was supposed to be the forgiver of the sins, the debts of the man, when they put that into the church. They were supposed to take it out of the coffers that basically the church had built up, utilizing your original sin, your original debt, as collateral. But see, nobody knows that. But that's what the whole scenario about baptism was about. The church basically set up this false corporation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was going on back in Jesus' time.
Mm-hmm.
He found out that basically he was hoodwinked by going and getting baptized.
Where can we find more about why...
Look. Study. Do research. Go into torrent engines. Try and find books that are not listed in the general archives.
Right. What I was going to ask on why, in particular, about the probate or will as opposed to the trust.
Trust, she was created by the English. And like I said, there is no fucking trust. You do not trust anybody. And I've said all along, don't even trust me. You check out what I have to say before you go forward with it. Because it's you that is going to be the liable party if you do it wrong. I'm just putting the information out there. And that's the problem with most of these people out here that have gotten themselves into trouble listening to half these gurus. They never really went and checked out what the guru was really saying.
That's kind of why I'm asking. I'd like to check it out, but I don't know. Have any kind of record or anything at all that clarifies why?
You have to do what I did, okay? You have to go in and start looking at the Bible. You have to look at a hell of a bunch of movies and read between the lines. You have to go in and read the statutes, download the statutes, search the statutes for certain words. Go through the dictionary, look up the words, understand what the words are saying. It's all there. That's where you find the truth, is in what the Word says.
Aren't we on these calls to learn more about that truth?
You're listening to me, aren't you? And I'm telling you what to do. I'm not going to fill your plate up with every goddamn thing you want.
I asked for one thing the entire call.
And I gave you the one thing, okay? Did I not or did I not give you the one thing that you asked for?
I'm sorry I bothered you, sir. Have a good night.
No. Would you listen to me? Okay? I told you where to go and find the stuff to check it out.
I think he hung up, Patrick.
Well, basically, I'm sorry, that guy just feels that he has to do that. That's what basically half these other gurus out here are like. They want their damn plate filled up by somebody and not pay them or anything else for their expertise in the damn endeavor.
Most of the gurus have never done this stuff for themselves. They never have tried the procedures that they get everybody else to pay for.
Yeah, and they turn around and use something that somebody else is trying to put out here for free and trying to be a Mr. Nice Guy using their documents. And my documents have been used all over the damn place in the Internet over the years. Some people get some little remedy, but they don't come back and say thank you. And how many times is that pointed out in the Bible? And then they turn around and they get themselves into real deep shit because they didn't know what the hell they did to begin with in the endeavor. And that is in the Bible. The Bible has all the answers if you really want to look for them. And then you have to know what the words are for the modern time that you're operating in. You have the common sense, or at least you're supposed to have the common sense of knowing right and wrong. But no, it's easier to go out there and have somebody else do all the damn legwork for you and then basically hand everything to you on a silver platter and say, here. But you're going to end up screwing it up. Mark my word. If you don't take the time and put the effort in to trying to understand what is really taking place. You don't have to go into all the stuff. I've tried to explain a lot of this stuff simply to you, giving you the metaphors, the simple metaphors of understanding. Some of the places to go and look. Like I told you, to go to John and look it up there about the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, about the 12 baskets of food left over that basically came back to Jesus and his disciples. Payment. But see, people don't look at that as payment or the knowledge that he was giving. Where did Jesus get the money or whatever to have a robe that he had that was perfect, that had no flaws in it? People just think, oh, well, some rich benefactor gave that to him. Well, basically, yeah, may have been a rich benefactor, but it also might have been payment for services rendered. Well, I don't need any more payment for services rendered or anything like that. That's not what I'm harping about now, because I'm on my way out of the system. Because I know what my will is, and that judge knows that I know what my will is. He even said that in the write-up that he came back. Mm-hmm. That basically I'm a man that knows what I want. I just need to put it down in a living will. My holographic will to go back to him. Because he can't operate without a valid will. It's that simple. We've heard these stories from different people going into court and basically having things settled right there on the spot. Not getting into an argument like a lunatic in the damn court scenario, but going in there in the right format and say, this is what my will is, and I want this settled. I'm sorry if I pissed anybody off, but it's about time that some of these people basically get their heads out of their ass.
Hey, Patrick?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is Mike. The reason why people is so timid to go online and stuff like that is because they feel kind of threatened by your, coming off them. And I think that people should not take anything personal when they're explaining, because all you got to do is listen to the word, not to the person per se. You might be taking it too personal, because a lot of people take things personal out there. That's why that fellow probably hung up. He took it personal, and that's a wrong thing to do. You don't take it personal. You're saying the right things. I'm listening to you to the past hour now, and as far as I know, you're correct in everything that you're saying. very much correct. And, again, people mustn't take things too personal, because that is lead you to other direction. So you're saying these things to us now, as I said before, for me, per se, I am in a learning process, and some weeks I'm not online, but I try to gather some information from the conference call, from the repeat. So taking everything in motion here, I think you're correct. And the word is already in the Bible, and the word is out there for us to gather and to learn from. And Patrick is actually not saying to you that everything is going to work 1, 2, 3. So you got to take your time and study it and so forth. I'm that I can't know everything. I personally don't know everything, but I'm taking my time learning the process in one area to the second area to the third area, and because I know the partner Patrick didn't do this thing, learn this thing in 1 week. Am I correct, Patrick?
Well, here's the deal. Okay, you may not have that much time left. Okay?
Right.
When Jesus came out and did his thing, okay, it was not too long after that basically the Romans came in and took down Jerusalem and leveled it entirely. Okay? It was about 40 years later or something like that, I think, according to the history. I don't think we have that much time left in this go around. So that's why you need to try and study this. And I was trying to hopefully keep everybody up to par with what I was doing in knowledge and everything else, and what I was trying to put out over the years. By putting my documents out and by putting the knowledge out on the audios, trying to explain where I got a lot of this information from. You don't realize how many files I've posted, how many audios I've done. Okay? I mean, it is in the hundreds of hundreds. Over the last 5, 7 years, whatever I've been at this, starting from the 1099 OIDs all the way to 1099As, and then into this We the People site.
I guess two things people probably want to get done fast is the debt settlement, and of course getting funds right away to cushion and to move forward to take to the next level. So those are the two things that I think is stopping people right now. So
yeah, and that's what I tried to put up there, was basically sort of a template I gave to Tom to put up there to send in with your bills. You turn around and you assign them, like your property taxes. You turn around and you assign the county attorney. Okay? He is basically working for the Attorney General's office of the state. Okay? So he is basically a county prefect for the property taxes. You can turn around and get all those property taxes back, too.
Okay. See, what I'm doing now is trying to get my my credit information so I can actually go ahead and get all these documented and send them out.
That credit information is all bogus. Okay? It's all bullshit. Right. It's for their benefit, and it's only that whole credit scenario is to basically put a higher insurance policy on you, a higher bondage rate on you. when you turn around and get loans or whatever. But when you go in and start paying out of your account by having all your bills go back to either the Attorney General or to the county attorney or to the judge. Okay, they're all in the federal prefect system.
So the Attorney General is the State Attorney General, or you're already talking about the one in Washington?
I'm talking about your state. If you got state bills or whatever, basically the Attorney General for your state is the one that's responsible for settling those bills. When you assign them, by your will, you assign them to be your representative.
Okay. All right.
And you can do a simple holographic will right there on the spot.
Right. So
you
there's no
write
need
it
to
out and you hand date it.
Right. So there's no need to inquire about karma or whatever they need, these agencies for your tax, for your debt collection. You don't need to do that.
You never deal with a third-party debt collector.
Right.
Okay? Basically, they're totally operating in fraud. They've already, and basically in most cases, your tax bill has already been paid for, and they turned around and bought it from the other party, and they're now trying to get paid for like 1,000% on the 10 cents that they paid out.
Right. So how long the process will take, Patrick, getting that done? When you have all the documentation, how long the process will take once you submit those information?
I didn't quite catch that. What did you say?
How long the process will take when you submit all those documentation to the court to cancel all those bills?
I'll send Tom a complete package of the documents in a sort of a blank format of what I put into this court case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
But if you read
That's the last thing I'm going to do, okay? Then after that, you guys are on your own.
If you read the documents that we're talking about, the dissolution, we're saying it's to be done in 3 days.
That is by your will. When you come in and put your will down, it is your will that this is to be done in 3 days.
3 days, okay.
Not your will, but the will is to be done, and a will has to be completed in 3 days. Right. That's the laws of wills.
Right. Okay.
Did not Jesus die on the cross, and basically it was by his will, and then he had to be resurrected back in 3 days into commerce?
Well, actually, the third day, including the day you submit, the third day.
After they receive it, they have 3 days to make the will complete. They have to complete the will.
Okay.
Or they have to get back to you within 3 days of telling you why they cannot complete your will.
Okay.
Patrick?
Yes.
On the settlement document that you have, as it is, it looks like this is the document that we use to turn in receipts or get property taxes back, because we're asking for the money to be sent to us delivered in cash, and we give our address below. If we're going to offset,
basically you've got to get paid for your services, right?
Right. But if we use this to offset things like utility bills, then we change the address at the bottom and say deliver to that address, right?
No, basically you put this on and you send this to the chief prosecutor. You're not going to get any money back out of that deal. Okay, so wipe off that.
Okay.
You just send this to the chief financial officer for that utility company.
Right. And we're not asking for cash back right now except if we paid things in.
Or basically if you go to the court or you go to the county attorney or you go to the attorney general, they can basically draw the funds out of your account.
Right. Yeah,
because they're a federal prefect.
Right. The redeeming order that does that to get funds. The settlement order is just to take care of bills and receipts, right?
That document that I had up there had both getting service fees paid back.
Right, okay.
Okay?
Got it, okay.
You're doing the work for your corporation. Then if you're working for the corporation, you ought to be getting paid from the corporation, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. That's simple.
Yep.
The dead is always supposed to support the living. And I know I've said that for years. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I have two quick questions. So just based on what we were talking about just now, you're saying that the bills always have to come back to the source for any of the bills that we get.
Yeah, so you send them back to where the bill came from, to the chief financial officer. He is basically a proctor for that company.
Prefect. Right.
To settle the bill.
Okay.
Like I said, all of these public utility companies, they had to borrow money to begin with because they have to zero their books out at the end of the year. So where do they borrow the money from? They borrow the money from their customers. So they owe us this, and all we have to do is put our settlement in there. Now they no longer owe that money back to us that they borrowed. We're canceling the debt.
Okay, so are we supposed to get something back from that?
No. For the public utility companies, you don't get anything back, okay? But if you've got state taxes or something like that, you're coming in to allow them to go in and draw the funds out of your corporation. Now, since you're doing a service to allow them to cancel the debt that basically with those taxes that the state really owes to us, then your corporation owes you a service fee for doing that service for them. Mm-hmm. So you put down a value of what you want returned back to you for your services. That's what I had on that settlement item there. But when you're doing directly with a utility company, you just make it a straight across the board settlement. I can't do everything, and I can't think for you guys. You're going to have to start thinking outside the box a little on this stuff. Because, like I said, I'm on my way out, and I'm not going to be here that much longer. I tried to give you the information. Now it's up to you guys, okay?
Okay, thank you. That really cleared it up for me.
Okay.
My other question was, you mentioned something about the hospital record and the birthrighting document. I'm wondering if you could maybe repeat or go into detail about what you said.
Basically, you have your natural birthing right document. It's either your hospital birth certificate or it's your Bible family entry document. Okay? If you don't have either one of those right now, go and get a Bible and one that has a family record section in it, and it should be in between the New Testament and the Old Testament, and put an entry into it, and then copy that and send that in. And I know I've said that before. Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
So
I'm done for the night. We'll talk to you guys sometime later, maybe.
Okay, thank you, Patrick.
Okay,
Okay, Patrick,
bye.
thank you.
Good night, Patrick.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
No.